We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us today, and we truly hope you will find this program we have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. We are ready now to begin the proceeding with the webinar. A great start to begin with this webinar is the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. It is mandatory for us as postgraduate students to write proposals and dissertations through research and literature review, which can be classified in many types, and one of them is systematic literature review, which we have conducted this webinar to explain about. Systematic literature review, or SLR, aims to identify and synthesize all of the scholarly research on a particular topic, including both published and unpublished studies. SLR also is conducted in an unbiased, reproducible way to provide evidence for practice and policy making, and it can also help you identifying the gaps in research. It also can summarize the questions you want to answer through your research. So it demonstrates your knowledge to the subject area and shows the methods that you want to use to conduct and complete your research. Therefore, in this online interactive session, we shall have your questions and concerns on how to conduct a successful SLR answered and cleared by our guest speaker, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Abdul Maleque. I pleasantly invite the first speaker for this webinar. He is the current president of PGSA 2020 and a PhD student under the Department of Mechatronics Engineering, Brother Ahmed Rimas, to deliver his opening speech and insights.
Dear brothers and sisters, it's my pleasure to welcome you all for this valuable talk. The Professor Malik has a very vast experience. He is a renowned scholar in this region and in his field globally. He has a lot of citations and lot of peer-reviewed journals to his name a few. He is an part of a lot of scholarly activities like conference, publishing and all. Sister Adila will give her a brief introduction letter. Here the point is that I request all of the participants of the PGSA forum to make use of such opportunities that we try to provide and try to give us the input on what they are feeling time to time on the different issues that they are facing, so that we can be really bridging the gap between the official and the need of the students. And this is a platform. I heartily welcome the Prof here for this talk. And over to you, Adila. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Rimas. Now, we are privileged to have him as our guest speaker today. He is a professor in materials engineering, specialized in composite materials and surface engineering. He is also the chair of advanced materials and surface ENG. His publications have been cited in over 4,500 different papers. Without further ado, it is now my pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Maleque to deliver his instructions and remarks on how to write a systematic literature review.
Thank you very much, Sister MC. Thanks to everybody. Thanks the organizers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Can everybody hear me? You can just send a message to the chat room. If anything goes wrong, either notify to the secretary or Sister MC or to me also. I will try to sort of look for that. All right, thank you once again, the organizers, to invite me to share something, some knowledge that I gained over the years on the subject matter or the topic that we are going to discuss today. Let me share with my slide. Sorry, I have to click the share. Right. Share. Right. Can you see my slide, brothers and sisters? Can everybody see? Sister MC, can see the slide or not?
It appears to us that you're presenting, but the slides are not visible.
Then, wait, I have to redo. I click the share button. I stop share first. Then again go to this. Share is an invisible share button.
You have to select the window, sir, which you want.
Yeah, I selected the window, and then the share, the button is gray. Yes, a window, but problem with that share button is okay. Now got it. Yeah. All right. Yep. All right. Now can see everybody, please.
Still the same problem. You're presenting, but the PowerPoint slide is not appearing.
What's wrong? Cannot see?
Sir, basically,
If you can just present your entire screen and then click on the
PPT, sir. Now you click on PPT, sir.
Click on
PPT that you have down, which is open.
Yeah. I can see. I already displayed my PowerPoint slide. I can see from my side. So then a message at the bottom came, meet Google, blah, blah, blah. So whether I want to stop sharing or I want to hide it.
In that case, you have selected the browser as an share screen, not the PPT.
Go through browser.
No. You have selected browser as a share screen. We can see your browser.
Oh, then hide it. Click hide. Huh?
No, sir. You just go back, stop sharing, select your PPT as a screen to be shared, or go for entire window.
Right. Okay. Let me open my file first. Desktop. KOE webinars. Yes. Now. This one. Now you cannot see, right? So still cannot see. Yeah, I just close this and then reopen from the browser. Can see or not?
We can see your browser only, sir. You can click on stop presenting.
Okay, stop presenting.
Now again you start presenting.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Present now. A window or entire screen?
You select entire screen, sir. Then go to the PPT.
Okay, entire screen. Then now click share, right?
Yes, sir.
Share. How it looks like?
We can see your entire screen. Now you just click on PPT, sir, and go to the full screen mode. Just
Yeah, I click
Yeah,
the
now
PPT.
we can see the screen.
now we
I can
can
see.
yes, sir.
Oh, technology. We need to do a lot of literacy review on it. So I received one assignment on it. So one group of brothers and sisters.
Sir, it's
Can you
okay.
or not?
Yes, sir, it's good.
Eventually got it. Eureka. Very good. Sorry, interruption of the system because we did not do the systematic literacy review on the presentation. Right, on the presentation tools. All right, thank you again, once again, and welcome to this webinar session, brothers and sisters. I really appreciate your initiative to this kind of activity and specifically forming the PG Student Association in our College of Engineering. Right, that is my initial remark. And can you see my title?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a title is a systematic literacy review. So sometimes probably it may not reflect the things. Otherwise, what is the outcome or achievement out of it? So there's in bracket, I wrote it, it's alternative title. So that is basically is the action over there. Means a writing literacy review. So when I'm going to do this systematic literacy review, it means that I'm going to write something, means writing literacy review, or I'm going to achieve something at the end of the day. So that's why I put it under the bracket. This would be my sort of agenda to the next 30 minutes or 35 minutes. I will start with a little bit overview and the requirement or the characteristics of the literacy review, flow of activities for systematic LR, structure of LR, and citation issues, and I'll draw the concluding remarks at the end of my webinar. Right, before I start or move on to that, my first agenda, can brothers and sisters say one or two word or even a sentence form in order to answer this question? The literacy review is for what or for whom? What is your answer? Brothers and sisters, can everybody hear me?
A literature review can be for researchers.
Literature review for researcher. Okay, good answer. Yep, very good answer. Of course. Literature review could be for other people, also for the artist, for the journalist, for the even those who are much known also, they make do some literacy review. Okay, what else? What else?
It's for conclusive research and to answer a specific question.
Literature review for answering some specific question. Answering specific question. Yeah, it's partly true. I don't want to say wrong answer. It's partly true. Yeah, we are going to answer some of the question. Any more idea on the?
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Literature review is it's general review on specific topic.
Okay, continue. It's difficult to hear, but still I can understand what you are saying, sister. Yeah. Right. For what means yes. Or you can say that for myself is a good answer. For the PG student is a good answer. Then it's of course for if you want to enroll as a PG student in any university of the world, so you have to write a research proposal. And in the research proposal, before getting admission, you have to write a proposal, and for that you have to do literacy review. So that's why literacy review is for research proposal. And you have done, all you have done. Those who are doing the PG in research mode, you have done already. Those who are probably mixed mode or coursework mode, you need to do it in near future, or some of you may be done. And literacy review for your comprehensive exam. Those who have completed, you have done. Those who have not yet, you have to do the literacy review. So this is the literacy review for all the PG students, starting for your research proposal, for comprehensive exam report or a comprehensive exam presentation, and what else, and go a little bit beyond. Yeah? So for conducting research, yes. Now you see that I'm going to answer that. Agreeing the answer, to find the specific answer of the question. Yes, meaning to say, if I translate the sister's answer, is something like that. I want to execute some research work, so therefore I have to do literacy. Meaning to say, those who intend to do the research, execute the research, either in the laboratory or at home or simulation and theoretical, analytical, or whatever it is, programming. So they need to do some literacy. So literacy review for conducting research. And what else? Literacy review for your thesis, for your fine document. Probably Christian people will say that, oh, my thesis is my Bible. My thesis is my Bible. So for your thesis, literacy review. And in order to submit the thesis, in order to get approval of your thesis, you have to publish something, and this literacy review also publishable in a form of paper, review paper, in a form of conference paper, in a form of maybe other document, manuscript or booklet, whatever it is, book chapter. So that's a literacy review for that purposes. And there are some more, many, and literacy review for other type of research for other reason. I have many reasons to do the literacy review. I have many reasons, being the supervisor, being the researcher. If I want to secure some research grant, I need to do literacy review. So I have my own target to do the literacy, but I need to do many things. So now get the answer for it. Clear? Everybody clear? So with that, slide presentation would be easier for me, and I can go, I think, a bit faster. And I hope probably you may ask some question in line with this. So that's why I give some initial tips to ponder. So the literacy review for what or for whom. Right. Again, the overview also, I don't need to say details. So a lot of statement, even you can find it Wikipedia, in the Google Scholar, the platform. Even just simply if you click on the Mr. Google or Mrs. Google, brother Google, sister Google, Google also will give you a lot of scenario on the overview of the literacy. But in cut it short, what I want to say is a comprehensive summary of the previous research work with critical analysis on the published document in the journal, book chapter, or maybe other sources, in the specific field of research or area of research. We call it field of research, FOR. And also, another overview of this literacy review I want to share with you, brothers and sisters, is to again go through some critical analysis to look into the existing research in order to sort of curve out a space. The quote and unquote abbreviation or the phrase is called curve out of space. And now if I translate it, so it's nothing but it's a kind of find the research gap. Even during this introduction by the sister MC, she also quoted few things on the systematic literacy review. What is systematic literacy all about? She already briefed, on my behalf. Thank you very much, Sister MC. You have already briefed what is systematic literacy review. I don't need to give the definition. You already provided the definition. So mention already there. To find the research gap. Yes, it's true. It is view of the literacy review that I have to find out the research gap. Or else, no point. It will be not with the literacy review. It is something else. Then I will share with you what is something else if we don't find the research gap. All right. So if you do 4 things in your literacy journey in a systematic manner, then your literacy review would be robust, and we can claim that it is a systematic literacy. What are the 4 things? Summary, evaluation, critique, and comparison. Summary, evaluation, probably you can convert it, synthesize, because Sister MC, in the brief of this SLR, she mentioned the synthesize. Even I also wrote this word in the later slide. So evaluation, probably you can convert to the synthesize. So basically 2S, 2C, S square, C square, S square, C square, 2S, 2C. With this 4, very catchy word, if you sort of follow the journey of your literacy review, then you can claim that your literacy review is a systematic literacy review. And it will serve your purpose. And you can reach to your destination. So like being Muslim, we believe in Allah, we believe hereafter life. That's why we do ibadah, through, research, reading, or listening the srama, or talk, or through counseling, and so on and so forth. And we devote it to worship to Allah, so that in the hereafter we can enter into Jannah. That is our final destination. That is our ultimate goal of the purpose, or purpose of our life. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created jinn and insan for hereafter. And hereafter there is a life with happiness, it's called Jannah. Life with very sadness and worry and concern is called Jahannam, or hellfire. So in literacy review, in your research, if you do the systematic literacy review, SLR, in these 4 areas, then inshallah you can reach to your destination and you can achieve something. And you can claim that, yes, I have done research, I have done literacy review for my research, and I achieved it. I completed my thesis, I got a degree of PhD, or master's, or postdoc, and so MPhil, and so on and so forth. Right, and it is nothing but it's a kind of standard essay. The very good thing that literacy review is a kind of standard essay. Very simple thing. Here you don't have to come out with any model, any simulation. You don't have to go to the lab. You don't have to bring the equipment. You don't have to sit down, with your equipment. Or you don't have to develop any computer algorithm, or you don't have to develop any software. No, nothing. Just standard essay is called literacy. Meaning to say, read and write. Read. I will show the next in the next comics. So then you will see the good reflection of the literacy review. It's nothing but read and write. Read and write. Yeah? That's why we call it is standard essay. However, it has only 3 components. 3 components in its arena. Number 1 is an intro. Number 2, a body. Number 3, a summary. As I mentioned in my previous slide discussion, so if you just simply quote and read and quote without this kind of summary, synthesis, criticism, and comparison, then it is not literacy review. Rather, it is a kind of annotated bibliography. And in our, specifically in our engineering or science and engineering field research, we say annotated bibliography is not literature review. It is not accepted. It is not halal. Other word, we can say that it is not halal. No, literature review is not halal if it is annotated bibliography only. But what we want to see an argument about a body of research through those actions, what I said, and I will share in the next few slides, about the argument of the body of research. All right, that is my overview. Finished.
Excuse me, sir. What is annotated bibliography?
Pardon?
Annotated bibliography. What
does it mean?
Yes.
It's a history. Meaning to say, so you can say they say that in 1915, George Bush conquered America, and he was the president for 5 years. After that, Bill Clinton come on power in 1955, and then he continued for another 10 years, and then some military come and sack him, and then overpowered by another military government in 1960. So this is called annotated bibliography. And now, if I give example on the research, so in our field, so you said that the Mr. X in 1950 done the research on the wood-based composite material. In 1960, Mr. Y, done the research on polymer-based composite material. In 1970, Mr. Z done the research on carbon-based composite material. So this is called annotated bibliography. All is research. All is research. In 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, and you mentioned the author's name, and you mentioned the material name. It's based on the literature, what you read. But if you write that way, that is called annotated bibliography. That is not halal in our science and technology-based research literature. Clear, sister? Clear?
Sir, annotated bibliography, you said like someone has done this, then like historical. And in our like what we do in literature review, in review paper, or like in thesis book, like similar, like we do the same thing, right?
Yep. That's why I don't accept many literature review, many theses. I give major concern, major correction.
Because of what? Your writing is the problem, or what is the problem?
Yes. What we need to do, we have to sort of overpower the annotated bibliography. And how? It's a journey coming to the next slide. After my comics presentation.
Okay.
You have to follow the roadmap of the systematic literature review.
Yes, sir.
So that is the answer. That is the solution. Then your literature review is halal and acceptable. We don't want to see that annotated bibliography in your thesis. And if you write good article for publication with this annotated bibliography, no one in the world, any publisher or editor, will accept your review paper, accept your manuscript. No one. Specifically in our field of science and engineering. No one. So we have to sort of overpower this annotated bibliography with something new through the SLR. All right, clear? Okay, I will stop now. I will not talk, and I don't want to talk you, but just read it and ponder it. I give you 30 seconds. Everybody, 30 seconds. Finish? So what is this gentle brother doing? Any comment? What is this gentle brother doing? And how? And what is the immediate comment or action by somebody else? Can you find the reflection from here, brothers and sisters?
Well, one person is reading a paper and it took one day, and another person asked that what is it about, and then he couldn't answer.
Yes, good, very good. You see, at least reading means doing research. Although he couldn't answer, he couldn't find the solution. So reading, that's the first thing you have to do it at least, but not complete. Okay, what is this gentle sister doing with the computer, with the PC? And see the last part. Make sense? The comment? Make sense? Writing. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Writing the history, writing the history. Right, the same gentle brother or the student. So now come back again. Now sitting with the, an old professor like me. You see with the beard, bearded person, old professor like me. So what's going to happen over here? What's going to happen? Any comment? Any reflection from here?
It shows that doing research takes a lot of time.
Yes. So at least have done research. The student, PG student, if he is PG student, he can claim in front of his supervisor that yes, I did some research. I did some research. Through reading, probably he is about to start writing and thinking, pondering, so probably he has done some research. This is the final comment. So in addition, over here, can you see te tare, brothers, sisters? Te tare? Pointer, where is my pointer? Can you see here te tare?
Yes, sir.
So you say this part is reading, this is writing. It's called revision or ranging, or preparing te tare. And if necessary, probably you need to redo, repeat, until and unless you find the gap, you find the problem with the proposed solution, you find the future way forward, you find the future direction of the research. You have to repeat it. So this, what we call is the research cycle. Research cycle. So meaning to say, systematic literature review play a very important role in your research cycle. In your research cycle. Because it will give you the way forward. It will show the future research direction. Yeah? It will create your new innovative idea to solve certain problems that you discovered through the literature review. So it's research. Clear, everybody clear?
Yeah.
And now I have to move to the next agenda. I will not spend much time again. However, this slide is important. Yeah, probably when you ask question, for many questions, I can refer to this slide. However, I did not write in details about each bullet because it's straightforward and time to time, and some I already highlighted and some I will highlight in the next following slides. Number one, requirement. Outline important research trends. This is very important. So see the insight into scientific trends on the FOR. We call it FOR. Yeah, on the FOR. And that should be in line with the systematic bibliographic analysis. It is like a annotated bibliography, but we don't want to have the annotated bibliography. We call systematic bibliographic analysis. You can start from, say, 50 years back scenario, then what happened 45 years back, what happened 40 years, what happened 30 years, 20 years, and what happened yesterday, what happened even last month. So that what we call the outline the important research trend. If that requirement you fulfill, meaning to say your SLR is very fantastic and amazing SLR. And everybody will love. So your supervisor will love that your SLR. Yeah, if you write that paper for publishing, reviewer will love your SLR, and editor will love your SLR. Reviewer will love your SLR. When editor, publisher publish it, your audience, those who the audience of the reading, literacy review paper, they will love to read. So when they will see this kind of the research trend, exist in your review paper. However, over there also you need to highlight, assess strength and weaknesses of the existing research. So that's why 4 points you have to remember, 2S and 2C. So in order to assess the strength and weaknesses of the existing research, I will share you with some example. And potential research gap, it is sort of very, very important for you, brothers and sisters, those who have just started research. If you cannot identify the research gap, so you cannot do the research. If you do the research, now later on your research will not be halal. Now I am talking about, I told you just a few minutes back, when your literacy review is not halal, so without identifying potential gaps through the SLR, if you conduct your research may not be halal, may not be acceptable. Then also establish the need for current or future research. So that's why we say what is way forward? What is the future direction that must come through the SLR? It is the requirement of the SLR. So always pinpoint, highlight these things in your literacy review. Then your literacy review will be robust and lovely. And finally, don't forget about the reference. This is very important, or else you will be in trouble. Your supervisor will be in trouble. That what we call is the plagiarism issue. So many academicians, even in the world, I know, they lost their job because of the plagiarism issue. So therefore, this is also important. I will touch also towards the end of this presentation. So with that, I just want to move on to the next agenda, is the flow of activities of SLR. Again, there is another comment. Probably you started some research work, while you are doing literacy review. But if you don't follow the roadmap, the roadmap that I am going to share with you here, so again, probably that may lead to you something may not be good literacy review, and they may not help to do your research, and they may you can achieve something may not be acceptable. For example, the summary of this cartoon again. So there is no engineering activity over here. So the fellow thought that, okay, I am engineer, but I take one nut, I take one bolt. So I just put nut bolt together, and I bring one gasket or tape to tighten it. And then I tighten it. I said, oh, I integrated the things. So this is my integrated circuit board now. Integrated circuit board now. Oh, very good, So you see the outcome of the research. It's not good because there is no planning, no SLR, no analysis in the SLR. So therefore, he couldn't come out with the good research. He couldn't come out with good thesis or good journal, article. So therefore, you have to follow the journey to the SLR in order to have a very comprehensive SLR. So basically, it consists of planning, reading, researching, analyzing, drafting and writing, and finally rinsing or revision or tare. I say it is a checklist basically, checklist. All right, and all you can present it in a form of structure of literacy. There's another agenda I have over here, so I will explain that. And look at the planning. What does it mean? Meaning to say, what type of literacy review are you writing? Then you have to make plan. I already touched a bit. Even Sister MC also touched it a bit at the beginning. However, you need to focus on specifying the problem or the research portion. What is the current issue? What is the current problem? So that you have to focus on, in the planning session of your literacy. So while you read it, you will get more problem. You will discover more problem. You will discover more issues. You can write more research question. So That's very good, fine. But at the beginning, during the planning session, you have to specify some problem and identify a focus that will allow you to sort or categorize the information. Not only that, so you have to identify the type of review during the planning session. During the planning session, are you focusing on only the theory-based sort of existing research, or methodology, or policy, quantitative, qualitative, algorithm, software, and so on and so forth? So that you need to identify during your review. So that is a classical type of review you need to identify. So that will mean to say to narrow down a little bit. So it's good for you. So it's good for you so that you can have. It also next step. That's why I wrote over here is the scope setting. It helps you to give the boundary of your work and also literacy review. It's giving the boundary. So in planning session, so you set some kind of scope of your SLR, scope of SLR. And also, don't forget, I mentioned at the beginning also, area of interest. Search on the specific area of interest or subject matter. That is very important. So sometimes some researchers, specifically PG student, they want to unnecessarily increase the number of references. They want to increase the volume of the literature review. So therefore, they just dump, only many irrelevant information over there. So don't do that. So that's why in the planning session, you need to do that. Right? So next one is the reading and research. So over here, you need to spend more time, basically, because you have to collect the information and also you have to narrow down the reading and researching on it. So after collecting, you have to summarize, basically, sources answering the following questions, such as the author, name, what is the purpose of the research, past research, whether it is theoretical based, or experimental based or simulation based, and what are the intended audience of that particular sort of research material, what they sort of point out over there, any research question I can write down out of it, or any issue I can sort of extract out of it. So those kind of things you can sort of do during reading and researching the session. However, in order to make your life easy, so better go with very certain source material that will be helpful to you. So here I highlighted or listed down some others. Probably also you can go with. So once you read and search, so read journal article or say relevant books, or could be a conference proceeding, book chapters, report. Sometimes even government documents also important. If it is policy related thing, or if it is certain law and order related things, or it is probably environment related things, probably you need to go through some kind of government documents, during the reading and searching session. And other online research material also you can find it on different university website, company website, association, even YouTube. But that one is difficult to cite, difficult to cite. For basic research purposes should be fine, there's no harm. However, if you want to bring it into your SLR as part of the content, then you need to do what you need to do. You need to communicate personally and get the permission. Then should be okay. So say with permission. So you quoted or cited or sort of brought that idea over here with permission. Then should be fine. Or else, if you go another platform, it's called Google Scholar Science Direct Database. Also, lots and lots of information, even on the subject matter area. In the narrow field, you can find a lot of information. So from there, you can read and do the research. And other library database like Web of Science and Clarivate also very useful and helpful. And after all, if your literature review is good, if you come out with good manuscript, if you publish it, high index journal, so they basically park under this database like Web of Science or Clarivate Analytics. and from there you can see your fruits at the end of the day through the citation. So you see how fast your citation, keep on increasing. So therefore, this sort of platform also good for reading and searching the SLR. Right? I think that's all for this. Next is the analyzing, basically assessment of existing research. How do you assess existing research? So over here, yes. So first, remember, again, go back to that previous slide, I think second or third slide. A literature review is not an annotated bibliography type of activity or document, rather it offers an argument about a body of research. So therefore, we have to analyze the past research that already published in different platforms, different things. So how to analyze it? So there are 4 different types of tasks. This also I highlighted under the overview. So 2S, 2C. So if these 2S, 2C are in your SLR, in your literature review, so your literature review is halal, robust, very efficient and effective literature review. And if you just reform it according to certain journal, format, you can publish it, and you can sort of enjoy with your publication. So because in the first place, reviewer, editor will see how you analyze the past research work in your review papers. So they want to see this kind of thing. And at the same time, they want to see the way forward, future research direction. With that, so if the reviewer or editor find information in your review paper, even they will publish it. Even high index journal, you can publish it. So then another fruit, another consequence is that you just CNP, copy and paste into your thesis. So copy and thesis. Once your examiner will see that this kind of thing already published in high index journal, now it's a spark in the thesis, so they will salute you. They will remark with good marks, basically. So that's why these things are very important. I'm going to share with you some example over here. So basically what you need to do for the summary and synthesize, again, set some question, find the answer to those questions. So over here I highlighted, I don't want to read all. So mainly basically what do we know about the immediate area and argument, existing debates or theories, methodology, they use it, this kind of thing. So very nicely you extract those information from the previous research, from the previous published document, and after that you start writing in your SLR, in your document, in a form of summary and synthesis, right? So there is one slide. This is an example. I think you are familiar with all are familiar with this. So I brought example on analysis task. So for example, I wrote the first one. Nurmadin in 2016 has demonstrated blah blah blah. Early work by Husna, Sharos and Graves in bracket 2007 has concerned with blah blah blah. Alside and Stern in 2018 compared algorithms for handling blah blah blah. Additional work by Kawaras and et al. In 2019, and another even group of researchers et al. Deals with. So you need to sort of summarize. Summarize. You need to synthesize. You need to compare, and you need to critique. The previous research work in your literature review chapter, in your literature review part. So for example, to write the 4, this catchy, the parameter for the SLR. So if you write in such a manner, very good. And underlying things, basically, it is based on the Bloom taxonomy. Always, try to go with the higher level of Bloom taxonomy. Higher level. This kind of higher level of Bloom taxonomy also, superpower or overpower the annotated bibliography. When you write your literature review using this kind of Bloom taxonomy format, the terminology. So that always, remove the annotated bibliography. So rather it reflects to the analysis, analysis. So follow this. Now I give a specific example on the summary and synthesis. So you see, you read, say, maybe a group of research articles on a particular issue, say to overcome the agglomeration problem. So then after that, you just found out that a group of researchers or two, three different types of researchers, they publish very good research outcome on this particular issue, on the methods, on the parameters. So now you task it to summarize and synthesize their work in your literacy review. You see, so I write this paragraph for you. It's an example. Those who are in this field, they will understand clearly. Others, just take an example, so you just sort of customize it in your SLR. So under the restriction of the process parameters, 4 possible processes to overcome the agglomeration problem. This is the current issue, current problem of nanofluids were presented. You see, it's past research. You have summarized. The first one is magnetic force agitation. It's a technique. I'm saying, I bring in what they have done. They have done on the method. The research was on method. And I said that Kumar and Mustafiz in 2007 applied another method using 2-step blah, blah, blah. And so they couldn't solve the complete problem. So, but some other places do something to overcome the problem probably completely or at least reduce further. So that's why I'm writing the statement. So to reduce the agglomeration of nanoparticles, Eastman et al. 2018 developed a 1-step physical vapor condensation method to prepare blah, 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 blah. You see, so now I'm up to date. I am up to date. So I summarized and synthesized in this paragraph, previous research work. So if you present like this, it is not the annotated bibliography. Rather, over here you see analysis there, analysis there. So you have to write the summary and synthesis in such a manner. Now, move to the next 2 parameters of the SLR, which is 2 C's. One is comparison, another is critique. It's nothing but to evaluate the strength and weaknesses of the past work. That's it. Again, you set some question, find the answer to those questions, and then write in a systematic way. So that will be good enough for your SLR, and it will be in a good document under your literacy review topic chapter. So which will sort of highlight or point out the comparison and critiques. So not annotated bibliography. So after answering all those questions, in order to evaluate the strength and weaknesses of the previous research, so you see how I am going to write the example on the comparison and critiques. Sister Aisha is here. You see, probably it's not her work. You see, in an ambitious but flawed study, you see, I wrote the word ambitious because this researcher, Aisha and Julina, they have reported something, with very high ambition. But when I read it, or say you read it, brothers, sisters, but you found something is not correct. So that's why he's saying that, but flawed study. So some defect is there, some flaws are there, some drawbacks are there. Why? So their ambition is so high in the research. So this is called the critique. This is called the critique. So you can critique other researchers' work. No harm, no problem. And it is halal. It is not gibah. I'm doing the gibah, backbiting. No, it's halal, backbiting, not backbiting. So that's how we criticize other researchers' work. So now you see, now I'm giving some thanks, or highlighting what this Aisha and Julina have done or reported. So, however, this general finding, so I'm saying they said the very ambitious result, but I say that it is general finding. So general finding, but there is a reflection. I'm saying that the general finding reflecting the characteristics behavior of hybrid composite material. And you see, now I also comparing this Aisha and Julina's work with, not only I'm going to criticize, but also comparing with other works so that they also be happy, but are similar to those reported by Haslin and Adiba in 2009. So who have reported blah, blah, blah. So in such a manner, if you present the comparison and critiques of the past research work in your literature review, then your literature review is perfect. Very lovely, literature review. So I brought another thing, just you read it. I don't want to read it. It's basically, it's my own work over here, but it's good that criticism there, comparison there. So for any question from brothers and sisters, before I move on to the next agenda, next part of this roadmap to the SLR, any question on this particular issue? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Sir, question will be in the last, no problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jalan Sehala, one way, yeah? One way driving, right? Okay. That's good, great. So this is another example. I don't want to read it. It's similar, but just for your information, yes. Next task in the roadmap to the SLR is drafting or writing. So what are you going to write? So if you have done the planning activity, reading, researching done, analysis done, very good. So now you have to draft or write in a document form. It could be your comprehensive exam report, it could be your final thesis, chapter 2 literacy review document, or it could be, say, I want to publish my review, literacy review in the journal. So then it is a manuscript for publishing the article. So now, what are you going to write? So that what we call the structure of literacy review. Structure of literacy review. There are three main components, as I told you: intro, body, and summary. However, so over here, during the drafting or writing session, so preferably start with, it's easy manageable basically, and smarter way doing the things, because you are a smart engineer, so why not you will follow the smart route. So start with your thesis statement. If you write the literacy SLR for your thesis, or you write your sort of title or topic statement, the title that you are intending for, publication. So it's good, thesis statement. Bring the thesis statement. So some flavor of the thesis statement should be in the writing of this SLR. You can embed it in the introduction, even in the body. In the introduction, in the body. No problem. And then start with the intro, and then start writing body, and complete with the summary or outlook. Summary or outlook. Same basically, or concluding remarks, same. And also citation. So during the drafting session, do it concurrently is good. Citation part. So these are the main components or things you need to do during the writing or drafting of your SLR. So here is an example how to bring the thesis statement on why. So what is going to help you in your SLR. So why I mentioned that you need to bring your thesis statement over here to write the SLR for your thesis in chapter 2 or the thesis statement offers an argument about literature. I told you in the second slide also, literature review or SLR is not the annotated bibliography, rather is an argument about a body of research. So this comes from the thesis statement. from the thesis. Now there's so many questions and debate on what would be the thesis statement, what are the things need to be considered in the thesis statement, how many words we need to bring in the thesis statement, how can I write my thesis statement. So there are so many tips and guidelines also there. So even if you consult with your supervisor, you can find the thesis. The thing is that how it's going to help you. As I told you, so it's an argument, and also for critical assessment of literacy review, it is very useful so that you can claim at the end of the day that yes, I find the gap. Yes, my future direction is this. And also overview of the current scholarly conversation. Mainly their pros and cons, their strengths and weaknesses, all those things, and also identify the gaps. And finally, relate with the larger main aim of your study. Main aim of your study. Sometimes we say that is the thesis statement is basically main aim of the study. You know, in some thesis we find that under the aim of the research, students write one paragraph under the main aim. So we said, no, your main aim of the research is your thesis statement, or is basically your title. Right, now let us, we discuss next couple of minutes on the structure of literacy review before I conclude my presentation. So here, there are three components, I told you, intro. So what are the contents, or what are the things you need to bring inside the intro? So again, number one, outline. Number two, in the outline, so ask the question, why I am going to write this review? Or why this topic is important. And also set the scope. So what are you going to write under this, under the body of the literacy review? So set the scope there. It's a boundary. Scope always is boundary. And criteria used for your literacy review. Mainly the sources of information, data range, variable, parameters, and the type of research that you want to bring over here. You can set some criteria. And even it is also useful to self-assess your SLR. If you set some criteria, it's good for the SLR itself, that is a good SLR. Your literacy review is robust because you set some criteria. Based on the criteria you proceed, you completed it. And at the same time, you can do the self-assessment through the criteria. And what are the criteria? There are many. The simple criteria is that, okay, I will read my SLR 10 times, 20 times. It could be one criteria. You can set some rubric to assess your criteria. So, okay, I want to see whether, because my focus is on the sort of using the modern tools, for, overcoming this current issue of, say, environmental concern. So you set some criteria on the modern tool uses, something like this. Or probably the characteristics feature. Say, I want to focus on the performance of my integrated circuit boards. I want to measure the power, dB, power. So if I see that in the circuit board, I monitor the power with such and such level, so basically I would say that I can accept that things in my literacy review, and I can consider the literacy review is good, and with that I can move forward. So I can see my way forward, I can see my future direction of the research. So in such a way you can set the criteria. And of course, finally, the organizational pattern also is very important. So you just highlight one sentence on the organizational pattern. So here I brought one example for you. In how to write an introduction in your structure of literacy. This is from my own work, basically. So many of you probably will understand, many of you will not understand. But this paragraph, introduction paragraph, is in line with what I shared in this slide. In line with this. So I outline it, why it is important, and I set the scope, I set some criteria and these things. So you see, the surface modification of alloy steel using high melting energy and hence the hardness properties of the surface layer by altering the microstructural features on the substrate material through the addition of reinforcing material. The triumph to achieve the hard layer of this basically prolong the lifetime of this blah blah blah. And then literature review presented over here, so on this area. And I said that in the next paragraph, here is the last one. I said that the current things, basically issues pertaining to the processing condition also are discussed over here. Is the outline, organizational pattern here. So that's how you have to write your introduction section of your structural literature. Now body. So I covered so many things over here. Only thing is there here is the writing thing basically with the pattern of your organization. So that's the thing. So remember that should have some clear connection between the previous resources and the immediate current research. Always should have some bridge between these two types of resources. And also you can start with historical background. You can touch on the methodology. You can find the previous research studies with the pros and cons, and also find some questions, basic questions that is very useful, because you have to write down some research question for your own research. Otherwise, is the research gap basically, and also write some conclusion, general conclusion when you write the body paragraph. General conclusion should be inside the body paragraph. Approach, we call it topical characteristics organizational approach. It's a simple, what you see in daily life in the previous thesis or basically article. Basically break the heading, subheading, discuss is a section in line with 2S and 2C. And also don't forget that we should have a clear chronological development. Clear chronological development based on your thesis statement. This is very important. So, and also after all this implementing 2S and 2C in your body paragraph, so final fine tuning also you need to do in line with this. So look at that, whether it demonstrates the chronological development or not, as I mentioned previously in the previous slide. And also approach to the problem statement. You have to find the problem statement based on this analysis in the body. And some debate or seminar means very influential things you have to highlight. Focus the influential thing. And lastly, you also demonstrate a paradigm shift that, oh, no one have ever done this. Therefore, the future research should be done on such and such, the area with such and such too. So that is your paradigm shift. You have to highlight over here. And then summary section, very precise and concise, but try to remember these things. I have an example on the summary from my PhD student who has wrote in his thesis. So, but remember these 5 bullets. See that whether these 5 bullets are there in your summary of SLR or not. So, agreement, disagreement of the past research. Identify the research gap, so that you highlight it or not. And overall perspective on the research topic, way forward. And the explanation of so what. So you have to write one statement on so what. And also implication for future research. So you can say the who, no one have done this. If this work is done, it will save the people, hundreds, thousands of people from the COVID-19 pandemic within very short period of time. So that is the implication from the immediate future research. So here is an example. Again, I don't want to read. This example basically in line with these 5 bullets. In line. If you read one bullet here and read one statement, 1 or 2 sentences, you will see they're exactly same. Exactly same. So I brought from my PhD student thesis this one. So this is the second paragraph for the summary of the presentation. Now the next part is the citation of reference sources. So we call it bibliographical details. This is very important. If we don't do so, number one is a plagiarism issue. That may lead to sort of destruction in your even professional career, professional life. And other one is why not you will acknowledge other people's work or give some credit to other people's work when you read and write from their document, from their published document, published research. So that's why citation is very important. What we call is bibliographical detail. So keep note on the publication title, date, author's name, page number, and publication. I will show that in the next slide. Another thing, always mistake, many mistake I found myself in the body of the research and in the referencing, so in both places. So introduce quotation effectively. I brought over an example from my PhD thesis student. So according to Laila and Mrida in 2018, it's a comma. So if you quote, something from these researchers, some statement, so you have to quote exactly, and in this fashion, in this manner, comma, and with the space mark, increasing the current with decreasing the titanium carbide on the software surface, increase the dissolution behavior, and space mark finish and full stop. So that you need to do it, introduce quotation effectively. So it should be in the text, in the body of your SLR, and also have to cite it. I am coming for the citation also. So cite it properly. Use proper in-text citation in the document and these things. That's all about it. Citation style. Normally we follow APA. There are others. APA. So I believe everybody is familiar with APA. So APA format, basically a paper is to be referred to by the author's surname with the year in parentheses in the manuscript text or the SLR text. Reference should be listed together at the end of the thesis or manuscript in an alphabetical order by author's name. So that is called APA format. So here is an example. So you see, so all the authors' surnames start with initial, comma, surname, initial, and the end, and surname and initial of the third author in bracket, comma, and then title of their published work. Basically, sentence case, most of the cases. Sometimes some university format may be differ. It could be initialized each word. And then the title of the journal, in general, it is italic. With initialization of uppercase letter of each word. And this is the volume of publication. This is the number of publication, comma. And this is the page number of that particular journal, page number. So this is very important to cite it in proper manner. However, yes, this one example, slight variation you may see, when you write your thesis or you write your manuscript for publication purposes, slight variation you see. But this is one of the APA standard format I share with you. At least one is. So some bad things is during the citation exercise is the plagiarism I told you, and irrelevant quotation also I mentioned, and unintroduced quotation. These three are not good. Please try not to practice it. Plagiarism, irrelevant question, and unintroduced quotation. With that, so before I make conclusion, is the revision, meaning to say fine-tuning or checklist. Fine-tuning or checklist. However, the checklist that I prepared for you, brothers and sisters, is not in order. Not in order. Somebody may follow this order, somebody may not follow. You may follow, one first, then another one. But if you sort of, go with the checklist for fine-tuning of your SLR in line with this list, inshallah should be fine. Your SLB should be fine. That's what we call revision mainly. Revision, mainly fine-tuning. If it requires to improve in the writing, do writing. If it requires to improve the reading, do the improvement in the reading. If you need to do the assessment of the past research, do it. But so fine-tuning, do it through this checklist, should be fine. Another very not good thing always we see is that English, grammar, punctuation. So please remember, recall those things. Check that punctuation and spelling when you write the SLR or even full document of paper or thesis. Now this is my last slide. Concluding remarks is that a systematic literacy review is carried out in order to find the research gap, as I told you at the beginning, and Sister MC also already mentioned. It is true. And it offers an argument about a body of research, not the annotated bibliography. And a systematic LR roadmap consists of planning, reading, analyzing, writing, and ranging or revision or checklist, going through the checklist. And also in body, the systematic the SLR basically main component are intro, body, and summary. So when you analyze and present them in the four main areas such as summarization, synthesization, criticism, and comparison, so then your SLR will be very lovely and amazing SLR. Citation, not only for avoiding the plagiarism, but also to acknowledge the other contribution in the research field that you are going to do research. With that, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's all from my side.
That was valuable, enlightening, refreshing, and also entertaining presentation, sir. Thank you very much, Prof. Abdul Maleque, for your valuable time and effort. Thank you also for acknowledging me during your presentation. Many useful points were highlighted in your presentation, sir. I personally learned useful tips that I can use for my LR, even though I'm not using the systematic approach. For this topic, we have received several questions, suggestions, and concerns regarding this topic. So we'll try to answer as much as possible in this session. If you haven't filled the Google Drive file we have distributed in the group, you may drop your questions in the chat box. We'll try to answer as many. The floor now is given to the Vice President, Sister Mahfouza, to address those questions.
Thank you so much, Sister Adila. Okay, sir, I have some questions I have received, like about annotated bibliography. You have said like we need to do summarize, synthesize, critique, and compare. So, this thing and annotated bibliography, I mean, what is the difference?
Okay, very good question. This question also was asked by another sister during the presentation. Main difference is that if you do the research, then we don't believe basically on the annotated bibliography. So annotated bibliography, as I mentioned, is only historical perspective, historical, activities listed down probably in chronological order, chronological year, or the chronological order of the people, or the country or regime, and so on and so forth. However, in research, our literature review, our bibliography is only perfect when we criticize somebody, when we sort of discover some flaws or defects on somebody's work. I shared with you also, there's a slide also with an example saying that, one author, Aisha, for example, Aisha and Julina did very fantastic research work. But they did not realize about the flaws. But I realized when I read it. So that's why in the first place I said that, your ambition is so high, you're claiming that you have done very lovely research work, but there is a flaw. There are some flaws inside in the report. So that can be sort of repaired, can be overcome easily. You did not highlight. And also on top of that, other people also did some similar work, but their claim also something different on the similar work. So this is called our bibliography. So two different types of researchers, finding I brought over here with their name and year. I discovered the flaws, and we sort of debated that they say no. So your ambition is so high, but there are some flaws. However, other researchers, but we don't sort of deny your work or refuse your work. Rather, we say that is a general research work done with some beautiful, discovery on the morphology, blah blah blah, and and similar work done by other researchers. If it is annotated bibliography, so just go with that. Mr. X have done the research work with a very high ambitious result on the composite material in 1978. After 2 years, the Haslin and Adiva did another research work on the similar area, and their claim was on the morphology only. So over here, there is no criticism, no comparison. Mm-hmm. So that's why this is called annotated paper. If we find these things in the SLR, so in the thesis, that's why this thesis get major remarks.
Okay. What is synthesize?
Synthesize is that you dig their findings. Dig their findings to take their the method, to take their method in one step ahead. One step ahead. For example, even this for the synthesis, I also put an example over here. I share with you again the slide is synthesized. Share adapting. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So here you see the synthesize. You see, the first statement is the synthesize. Under the restriction of the process parameters, 4 possible processes. These 4 possible processes done by the 4 different type of researchers. I did not quote here over here. Maybe I quoted somewhere else, or maybe I will quote later. So this is called synthesize. So when you write it, and being the reviewer, or being the supervisor, or being the examiner, when I will read these things, I say, oh, very good. This researcher started with synthesize on the process parameter to overcome something, some problem. I see this one of specific issue is this. You see, so this is called synthesize, and then more synthesize with the specific researcher. Now I brought over here. I told you. So I'm not giving any sort of reference over here on the synthesization, but I know. So I already achieved 4 possible processes people worked on to overcome the current issues. That's why I synthesize it using one sentence. Now I'm going to highlight one only here. Kumar and Mustafis applied ultrasonic excitation using 2-step method. You see, I'm going to highlight their method. I now mention the researcher name, and I cite properly with the year of publication. And this was not the complete solution to the current problem. So that's why my analysis is not completed yet. So that's why I'm going to do that. To reduce the same problem, another group of researchers in this particular year developed another method. You see, it's a synthesization with specific example. But this synthesization going towards the problem solution in a better way, to prepare the nanofluids with such and such, and then after that, I will write my way forward.
Then, sir, what is the difference between summary and synthesize? Because both are looking same.
Okay. Summary and synthesize. Okay, I go to this this example. Easy. Because answer is there. I already mentioned. Where is that slide? Wait. This one. Okay. This is you can write in a better way. I told you this 4 bullet for 4 catchy parameter, and that we are going to implement in the SLR. Normuddin has demonstrated, blah, 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 blah. Demonstrated. So this is summary.
Yes.
Summary. So this is the statement for the summary. But you can bring other references for the summary in slightly different form. Here I'm just giving the answer. And this was concerned with. You see, this is the critique. Okay. Criticism. So you are going to criticize. So you are going to criticize with the word of concerned with. Okay. And for example, I will show in the next slide. It's all your answer is basically in my slide. And this is compared, clearly can see, isn't it? This is comparison. And deals with an additional work by this deals with basically in one common research area, FOR, field of research, 4 things I presented, using 4 bullets. So this is, deals with, is the synthesize. Deals with is called the synthesize. And more example I can share with you. Summary, synthesize. Oh, where are they? Some more example I think there. But again, if you find the answer to this question, so you can write your summary and synthesize. Summary and synthesize. So this sort of things you need to highlight in the summary, synthesize, critique, and comparison. So here's the 1 paragraph on the summary and synthesize. And this, there are 2 paragraphs for the comparison and criticize. You see? So this one, you see? You see, with this one, I already started criticizing. Criticizing.
So,
but I am appreciating their work with this statement. And I am comparing their work with another researcher work, comparing.
Okay. So, so far, for summary, we need to start with deals with for synthesize, and summary concern. Like 2 words has been mentioned only. I mean, I couldn't get that.
If I told you can find other word, from the Bloom taxonomy, the table. There are so many. But remember that. So that will, always remember that when you construct the sentence with the word, so it reflects to the summary. Basically, you are summarizing. Maybe probably first you write. The Normuddin 2016 has summarized the research work on modern tool uses for the algorithm development purpose. You write something, right, using the summarization. Then later you improve that sentence with the Bloom taxonomy word. We call it word cloud. In Bloom taxonomy, you will find the word cloud. Word cloud.
So what is
and then bring the word from the word cloud and then replace with the summarize.
Okay.
Again, another sentence you write with the say critics, criticize. Early work, Krishna criticize the work of Mr. X and Z on the algorithm development, blah 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 blah. So write it first with the word of criticize, but later on maybe you can change with another word. Get it from the word cloud.
Okay. So what is Bloom taxonomy?
Is the Bloom taxonomy, we call it the performance level word. Performance level. So how you perform, or how I can assess you, that's why Bloom taxonomy come out with various types of tables, tools, criteria. With that, you can, sort of assess somebody's performance. So or you can see whether that fellow achieved the goal or not.
Okay. So what is the difference between systematic literature review and literature review?
All right. Okay. What is the difference? I asked first one question. What is the difference between a dress? Say baju Melayu, I use the Malay word, baju Melayu, a dress, and a beautiful dress. Is there any difference between these two words? Dress, you can say dress. Oh, this dress is good. But if you can also can say, oh, very beautiful dress. Very beautiful dress.
Beautiful.
Does it make sense? Any difference between these two?
No.
Apparently, no. But
There is a difference.
there is a difference, correct. So this beautiful word, we use as an adjective. Am I correct?
Yeah.
If you use any adjective word before the function word, then the function word uplifted, beautify, more. In Malay called chante, chante. Beautify. You are beautifying your things, better way. You are beautifying the things, glorifying the things. So now come to the LR and SLR. Apparent meaning same. One is you can say, oh, literacy review is good, but you can say, oh, very systematic literacy review. Does it make sense?
Like uplifted.
Exactly true.
Okay.
Why is uplifted? Dress. Initially, in the first impression, from the far, say 10 feet far, when I saw that you wear a very good dress, from 10 feet, I said, oh, sister, oh, your dress is very traditional, looks like traditional Bangladeshi dress. In Bangladeshi people, in Bangladesh people wear this dress. Oh, good dress. But if when you come closer, I can see some, Arong architecture. Arong. Arong. Have you ever heard the Arong architecture?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Very classical design on the dress. Classical design. So then I said, oh, very beautiful dress, sister. Definitely you purchase it from the Arong shop. It is Arong and beautiful dress. So now why we say it is Arong dress? Because Arong gone through a systematic procedure to develop, to fabricate that dress. Whereas other textile industry, textile manufacturer, they also produce the same dress, but they did not follow the systematic procedure to come out with your, what do you call it? The Arong classical, design and so on and so forth. Either in terms of in the button, in the collar, in the other fashion. So this is the difference between the LR and SLR.
Okay. Sir, what is the minimum number of references that needs to be reviewed in the literature review section?
So, okay. Anyone has any idea about it? Can answer this question? From the audience, brothers and sisters? Have you ever gone through any kind of booklet or university policy procedure or in your CPS guideline to write the thesis, So over there or maybe other university website, is there anyone mention about that in the literacy review there should be the 50 number of references, blah, blah, blah. Is there any such thing? Have you ever found it?
No.
Anyone else?
Actually, I've heard the more the better.
The better.
But I can give some tips. That's it. Don't take it as a guideline.
Okay, sir.
Don't take as a guideline. Yes, brothers and sisters, it's good asking question, and it's also good that again it will also you can set under the scope, but not in a written form. Quote and unquote, not in a written form, but you can set in your scope setting. is good, no harm, is good also. Right. If it is a review article, journal article, you want to publish a review work, review, literature review, SLR, in research journal, then the number of citation or references little bit less than what you cite or quote or include in your thesis literature review, under the bibliographic list. Always less. Now, analogy is that in some literature review, it is also based on your reading experience. In some article, literature review, you find that somebody published review paper just after citing 50 to 60 references only. Some maybe 70 to 80. Some probably close to 100. In some extreme cases, more than 100. So, in conclusion, what I want to say, if you want to write a manuscript for your publication in your research field and submit it for publication to a particular journal, to me, if it is between 60 to 80 should be fine. However, those 50 to 60 should follow, my statement. My statement will deal with chronological development. Can you recall this word?
Chronological development.
Yes, of the past research. Chronological development of the past research. If you have 50 citations, submitted it, and if paper comes to me, if I start reviewing this thing, yes, first place I say, okay, how many references there? Okay, because from there I will see that how much reading this fellow have done or gone through. That's the first impression, is good. And then I will read the body. I will read the body. In the body, I will start looking at the chronological development of the past research. And in line with these four things, 2S and 2C. 2S and 2C. If 2S, 2C are there, if the chronological development are there, started from 50 years back until today, publication, citation showing there's yesterday publication or 1 month back publication or 2 months back publication, and there are research gaps or the research question, and also highlighted the way forward and future research direction, I will strongly recommend that article to be published in that highly ranked journal. So you see the number. Now another review paper submitted, come to me, because I review lots, every month few, and first I will see, number of citation 100 or 100 plus, and I go through the starting journey, chronological development of the research, and I found that 100 years back story, and all of a sudden in the middle 30 years nothing. And then again in 1980 there, after that jump to 1990, and then 2010, and jump to 2019, and 2020 not there, but more than 100 citations. So I will say it's not good, this review papers. This is first impression. There is no chronological development about that. And then second, I will see the 2S, 2C. Whether 2S or 2Cs are there or not. Whether highlighted the current issue or research question or problem statement there or not. Through the criticize, through the summarization, highlighted or pinpointed any research question or any problem statement or not, or research gap there or not. If there, if not there, okay, minus. Finally is the way forward. This way forward, little bit extended form for your review article publication purposes, but this way forward in a precise form in your thesis. Because you don't have to write some big way forward in your SLR, in the thesis. The reason is that because you already solved the problem. Way forward, you already done. complete it through the research, and you already come out with the conclusion. Therefore, that way forward in the thesis become now less important. But way forward or future research direction, SLR, for the review article, for the manuscript that you want to publish in very high in an index journal is a matter and is vital, is important. If you do this, oh, fantastic. You got your answer, sister?
Yes, sir. Sir, how to find suitable literature for research document?
It's in my presentation. You are smarter than us, sisters and brothers. Huh? Everything in your fingerprint. So first answer, there are many answers. First answer, ask sister Google and brother Google. Sister Google and brother Google. And on top of that, yep, it's there. The more you read, the more you can learn. However, yes, you have to narrow down your searching also. That's why, they call it advanced search tool. Always, you go to advanced search tool. You will get very influential, seminal information, but from the narrow field, from the narrow searching. That is the smarter way of doing the things. Got your answer or not?
Yes, sir, but it will be easier if it can be like presented here, like.
Very good. I'm enjoying. All right.
You are in presenting mode, sir. You can open a new tab.
New tab or in Google.
Sorry. Where to go?
Just
Stop presenting.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Just click on plus sign and open the Google search, sir, with advanced.
Sir, upper, meet, then plus sign, like new tab. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can see. Yes, sir, we can see the tab.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But if you want to enter certain database, for example, Science Direct or Web of Science or Clarivate Analytics, you should have the user ID and password. But Google Scholar is quite, very generous. It doesn't require any sort of user ID or password for it. But for this kind of database, you need to have for Science Direct or Clarivate Analytics. If you want to see the full face of database, you need to have the user ID and password for it. Clarivate Analytics, Clarivate Analytics. Trustma. Here is the journal list over. Science group is here. You can even open the free account also. Okay,
Yes,
free account. But it's good to have. I think our university already subscribed. If you go to our university library website, so if you enter through the library website to the Science Direct or Web of Science or Clarivate Analytics, so you can even see the more windows or more information compared to this kind of just only if you go through the Google Scholar or Google search or through free account. I don't know how to do that because we use our university user ID and password for these purposes. But this platform very good to search your sort of required materials for SLR.
Sir, how do you search?
Keyword. Number one is keyword. So via keyword, of course, by title also sometimes can, but title sometimes doesn't work. It will work more better through keyword. And for example, I enter into, but I have to open my account in the Science Direct again. Science Direct.
You're looking for
University website. SCIENC Science DICT Science Direct. So you see here keyword. So you search the via keywords. That's good. By author name very limited, one or two. If you want specific, search by author. If you search by journal, also limited only. But if you search by keyword, so it's good. So modern tools for optimization. And over here also advanced search is there. Advanced search is there. Oh, I need to sign up. You see, sign in first. Because I have the account, I have to use my user ID and password because it is protected. Protected. Then only when I can enter over there. That is the problem.
Sir, there are so many databases like and so many indexing, Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, and PubMed, and so on. So if I search in Scopus and suppose like Google Scholar, then it's just like one thing might be in one database, maybe that thing may be not in another database. So it's just like how many account we should need to have so that we can find exactly.
Right. We don't bother about the Scopus and ISI because Scopus, the good quality, all Scopus journal, you will find in the both in the Science Direct database. Science Direct database. So therefore, if you subscribe the Science Direct or if your account in the Science Direct, meaning to say you have the subscription for the Scopus listed journal. Now the question is that I share with you whether you know or not. Our university has not subscribed the full range of Science Direct database, only partial. Yes. Partial. So, however, that will not stop you searching your literature. That will not stop you searching your literature. But if you want to download that for in-depth knowledge and reading purposes and referencing purposes in your SLR, then probably either you have to subscribe using their pocket money, or you can request to our library. They may get free of cost, either from the publisher or from the inter-university loan or inter-university library friendship. Or this is not good practice. I shouldn't share these things. So you got some information in the Science Direct, not information, keyword or the title, but you cannot download it for your reading and writing purposes, for your SLR. So the same thing, same journal, subscribed by the University of Malaya. You have a friend over there. And University of Malaya subscribed full range of the database of Science Direct. So if you give this information to your friend, so in less than 1 minute, so he or she can find the information and download it and send it to you. So it's another way of doing it. But first one is good that if you go through the library, should be fine. Should be fine. So searching can be done through the Science Direct, and all Scopus index journals are available under the Science Direct. Don't worry. And all ISI index journal available in the Web of Science. Now they rebranded it with the Clarivate Analytics. So all ISI index journals, you will find it under the Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics. So again, that full database may not subscribe by our university, but that will not stop you to subscribe, to search and download the basic information for your SLR. So that you can do. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, what is the standard outline for our review paper? Whatever we have seen is for review, how literature review, but for literature review paper, what is the standard format? And
Right.
how to convert literature review to review paper?
Right. To me, but this question very good. No harm, nothing wrong. But my personal opinion, question should be other way around. To me, first should come the review paper, then you convert to the literature review for your thesis.
Yes, sir.
That should be the way. However, that question also correct, no problem. If you say, for example, you did not publish your review work that you have done over the 2 years or 3 years, continuously. Yeah. Now you parked under the literature review chapter of your thesis. Very, very useful information there, in line with, say, my presentation. So probably you may think that, oh, yeah, at least now I want to publish. So then you have to convert literacy from that literacy review chapter from thesis to the literature to the review papers. Review papers. All right. Or else. So in my case, for all my students, first I say that not first day, not second day, but I know the professor in Malaysia. I have my colleagues, few colleagues. They will say first day if you see your supervisor, first day, first meeting. They will say, okay, so have you completed the proposal? Oh, yeah. So submit it to the faculty? Yes. Okay. Now start writing review papers. From tomorrow start writing review papers. That is his philosophy. My philosophy, I will allow the student to relax, to search the literature review through the search engine, to familiar with the database, and to learn the roadmap for the SLR, and to think of on the planning, reading, organizing, analyzing things. And maybe after a few months, I will ask, hello, brother, can you start writing a review paper now? A review paper? Yes. Now I come to the next question. So that is my sort of general answer on the question, on the first part or second part. So now specific. Specific answer is that, again, so first look at my slide number, I think 8 or 9, requirements. Requirements for the SLR. As long as if you follow fulfill those requirements, and then start squeezing little bit, squeezing. Oh, sorry, I go to this. No, I cannot see the screen. I go to this. How to go to this?
Just click on it, sir.
No.
No, sir. Edge.
This one,
Yeah. Here you are having your meeting.
Why is this one not working? It should be this one, right?
Yes, sir.
But my mouse is not working. Why? Anyway, so that you can see my face, I can see some of your face. What happened? Well, this is okay, but why not this one? Is it mouse problem or button?
No, sir. The first icon you click, that is the active window. In your title bar. No. First one, leftmost. After that, sir.
Oh, this one.
No, sir. Not that one. Last one.
Oh, sorry. Why this one? How does it? It goes over there. Sorry. Right. So let us continue. So first thing is that. So start squeezing now. Start squeezing. So I give specific answer now. Start squeezing your literacy review chapter. In first, fulfill the requirement for the SLR. And second is that further squeeze. So highlight on the 2S and 2C. 2S and 2C. Then later on I will come to outline. And after that, highlight the research gap. And after that, write down the way forward, future research direction, as if you have not done research yet, as if you have not done research yet. So that's why you have to write the way forward, because it is part of the SLR. So after squeezing these 3-4 things, so now create a template. So, and in terms of the first is the title. You may ask is it my same title with my thesis title? It could be, or if you slightly change it, also good. But keyword should be there. Few keywords should be there in the title, and then write the few keywords, catchy keywords. And after that, based on the catchy keyword, you write the outline. In the outline, I think in my slide also mentioned that, because outline basically follow the our conventional sort of characteristics approach, chronological approach. So first heading. So first heading, probably historical background. Second approach, get one catchy one catchy keyword from the title. With that one catchy keyword, write the heading. Second outline, right? Second outline is the second heading. First one is historical background. Second is with one catchy keyword from the title. So neither too long, nor too short. It's not the 1 or 2 word, but even if it is not a sentence. So section is called heading or section. And then, if possible, you create the subsection for that. In line with that main heading, create 2-3 subsection. 2 or 3 subsections should be fine. So now you fill in this heading and subheading, or section and subsection. So based on the clear chronological development of the research that you presented in the literature review chapter from the thesis. But you have to squeeze, not all, squeeze. Main thing is that start with the introduction. I also mentioned what should be the introduction, cover that introduction. And after that, go with, is analysis, summary, synthesize, criticism, and comparison. So in such a way, complete the flow of chronological development. So with second heading, few subheading, third heading will come from the title. From the keywords. And your keywords will come from your title. So one keyword, one heading, and from there few subheading. So you have from the second keyword, second heading, and then few subheading. So in such a way, you complete the journey, the roadmap that I shared with you. And in between, so you find the gap, mention the gap. What is the research gap? What has not been done yet? Or what is the current problem that you can solve? And after then, write the way forward under the concluding remarks. Or you can write the even outline also, or way forward. The last outline in the review paper, you can write either concluding remarks, or you can write the outline of, say, review, outline of the review, or you can say write way forward also can, way forward. And then you summarize it. So in the summary, you should remember what I shared with you, and how to write the summary, and I shared with you example. So if you have such thing, just copy and paste over there. Only thing is that here way forward is more clear and little bit in expand form compared to the thesis.
Yeah. Well, sir, suppose we convert thesis literature review to journal paper. or journal paper to literature review, like both way or whatever we do. But the thing is, when we submit our thesis, we need to go for similarity check and plagiarism check and something. So when it will be our part of our research will be published in a journal, and then it will goes under like similarly, right? Because already it's available in a journal and in thesis, same thing. I mean, a part of things like we cannot go more than 20%, more than 20% plagiarism we cannot do now. So like if we publish a part of our thesis in a form of journal, then when we will check the plagiarism test for our thesis, it will be more plagiarized.
Yeah.
Because already some. So what?
I got the question, sister. I got the question. Very good question. The insight is there. No, don't worry. Insight is that. Number one, yes, it's true. It's a plagiarism issue. Number one, when you use the Turnitin, either you use the Turnitin or your supervisor use Turnitin. After Turnitin report, try to remove it, delete it. So you can set the date, say in the next 1 month or 2 months, so automatically you will delete. So one site you are clear now. So the information, the document, you review the document will not be in the Turnitin. So therefore, there will be no plagiarism issue during the Turnitin. So one plagiarism issue may create from your own Turnitin, the activity. So number one. Number two, okay. Yes, true. I publish it. So now and everything I part under thesis. Now when I do the Turnitin second round, so Turnitin report saying that this is a similarity. Okay, it is halal. It is acceptable. It is halal. It is acceptable. Now you have to be smart. That's it. So your role should be here. Number one. So you claim that it is self-citation. If it is self-citation within the same research, halal. Number two, in Turnitin, there is an option called filtering. So you go to the filter and you go the filtering activity of the self-citation. Even you can do the filtering of your self-citation, those already highlighted by the Turnitin now. You found, it is my work, it is my published paper, it is my journal. So, and I bring it over here. There are so many, could be so many. So now you have to do one by one filtering. All the self-citation, coming, so you have to filter it. And then the similarity percentage will drop down.
Okay.
Drop down, and it is halal. No harm, because it is the requirement that the publication is mandatory for you, before you get the degree from IIUM or from any institution. Therefore, you have to publish it. That's why I published it, and it is online. Now I'm going to do the similarity checking. So I found a high percentage of similarity. It is because of the self-citation. So you can filter it, you can remove it, you can drop down the percentage of similarity by filtering. And it is halal. And you can write a note also, no problem. Write a note.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for attending the questions very patiently.
Sir, we have last question. Is time management strategy for systematic literature review.
Time and strategy for what?
Time management strategy for systematic literature review.
Oh, for systematic literature review. Time management, not time. But if it is time duration, I would say for PhD 3 years, for masters 2 years. Time duration for literature review.
Okay.
Okay, time management is that. So how can I manage my time for the SRT? Is that you keep a diary and pen in your pocket or with you or in your wallet. Whenever you read something or whenever you listen something from conference, webinar, or journal, magazine, and you think, hey, it is similar to my work. I am looking for this kind of information. Who is this fellow? Who is this? You see, as I now come to SLR roadmap, I told you. So write down the author name, the journal item, purpose, and you see. So now jot down because you have the pen and paper in your wallet. So you write, if you have smartphone, Google Drive, or you can open the Word file or Notepad. You can copy and paste also over here. Nowadays, very smarter we can do things. If not, at least you have to pen and paper manually. So you can write author name, title, publication name, year, and purpose of the research. And what is the highlight here? Gap. Right. And then put it in the pocket or wallet. Go back. And then do your work as usual. And after 1 day, 2 days, so now you go to your literacy review, SLR, formal SLR in the document. So now that things you translate or transfer from your pocket wallet or notepad to your proper window of the SLR, the CNP and class. In such a way you can save a lot of time. That is the best time management strategy. And that's the good way to strategize your SLR. Whenever you find any information, jot down, write down, keep it, or if possible, straight away to it. That's why you have to create the framework for SLR. You have to create the framework for SLR. Any information come, just top up. Like, in mobile, when credit finish, we top up, isn't it? 10 ringgit, we top up. 20 ringgit, we top up. So same. You have the framework for SLR. So you got some credit from somewhere, something. So now top up here. From one place to another place.
Okay.
So framework, strategy, and the time management.
Thank you so much, sir, for your answering the questions. Now I'm going to hand over the floor to our host, Sister Adila. Over to you.
Welcome. I also thank you all to participate, listen, and sort of ask question. It is my pleasure.
Sister Adila.
The host, did you record this lecture or not? I think so. Did you record the lecture? If you recorded my lecture, you can share with others, or else I can share my slide with the audience. Even I don't mind. How should I share the slide?
Sir, you can give I'll send the mail to you. You can share the slide with me. We'll put in website.
Very good. Okay, no problem. I will share my slide.
Create a PDF file of that and
yep.
put on website, inshallah.
Yep. I'll do so.
You can share with others. Okay, then I believe this session has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for attending this online session. We truly appreciate it. Hopefully it benefited all attendees, and we hope you found this morning's presentation informative and useful. I'd like to request for your assistance in completing the attendance webinar feedback form, which has been shared with you in the chat box. And we would like to hear any feedback or suggestions that you may have for us to serve you better. And on behalf of the organizing committees, thank you all for making time in your busy schedules to join us here this morning. It's been a pleasure hosting this webinar, and we wish you all a pleasant day. I end my duty as the Secretary General of PGSA for today's session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Right, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Right, welcome.
Thanks a lot, Prof.
Right, welcome. Those who attended my research methodology class, they should know this kind of thing.